It is freezing out here, but look at the beautiful water. I come out here at times when I just need to get away, or if I feel I'm stuck, or if I feel I have things in my head and I just need to, be by myself and kind of think things through. Is are times that I come out here, and when I come out here, there's certain things I do because people are like, "Well, what are you going to do? You going by yourself? What are you going to do?" Well, I'm gonna be by myself, and I'm going to, just do whatever I want to do. But when I do come here, I listen to YouTube videos. I have self-help books that I want to read. I have some Netflix things that I want to look at, and then I just plan time to just be and be in silence and be in quiet and to think and try to figure out what steps I need to take to get to another level or get out of the feeling that I'm having. So there are a few things that I do and that I have in my toolbox when I'm doing my self improvement or my self reflection or whatever it is. I look at YouTube videos, I read books, and I have some silence. All right. Another thing in my toolbox is therapy, but I don't do that when I'm out, by the water or take a trip or whatever. But just to go through those things, and I'll just start with therapy. I'm a big advocate of therapy. I know a lot of people are like, I'm not going to therapy. I don't need therapists and all this stuff. But, sometimes a lot of us need therapy. And there's nothing wrong with it. When I was going through my depressive state about, I always say 4 or 5 years, but it might have been 5 years ago or so. And I realized I was in depressive. I didn't want to get up and all these things. The only thing when I was in that state, the only reason, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I would get up and try to do what I had to do is because I had my kids and I knew how to take care of my kids. And so I went to therapy and got out. I went to therapy and it wasn't long. I think I went to therapy maybe 4 months. And I got myself out of it, got the tools that I needed, and I was able to talk things through and things got better. So therapy is there, you go for when you need it. I just went to a therapy session about a month ago because I had more things in my head and I couldn't break through and I couldn't see what I needed to do. And I just went to one session with the therapist I went to years ago. She, remembers I was like, I just need something. So I talked to her for an hour and I got some tools and I got a little bit of clarity. And then I went on about my life. So that's where I am now. And I realized from that one session, things that I needed to do. So my next thing that I do is I listen to YouTube videos. There's tons of YouTube videos about absolutely everything you would need because YouTube is like a search engine, right? So I may be thinking about some things or maybe thinking about some tools or some books that may help me, things. So I'll go and search and I'll listen to things. I'll listen to some scripture-based sermons. I may listen to some people that I like to listen to, like what's the girl's name? I think it's Brene Brown. I was listening to Tony Robbins, a couple of Tony Robbins videos lately, Always Oprah, and some people and some things like that are inspirational for the things that I'm looking for at the time, some answers. And I won't say answers. I was just looking for some insight about certain things. So I use YouTube and then books. I search on the internet. So this is what I'm trying to, deal with. And I look for some books that may help that are on that subject. And I go Amazon, read the reviews, read the book, read the summary and everything and see if that book will help me. I'm an avid reader and, I read mostly fiction books, and I do it on my Kindle. Avid reader, read hundreds of books. But when I have to do like a self-help type book, I usually get the hard book, just so I can go through. I'm reading a really good book right now. Well, it's behind the camera because I forgot my pod. But it's about boundaries and setting boundaries and keeping boundaries, and how boundaries bring you peace in your life. A very good book. I'll make sure I link it down the bottom. It's a very good book. I'm really enjoying it. But I get the hard book, the live book, when I read about self-help books or self-improvement, things like that. I'm not big on podcasts. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know. Or Audible. I can't keep my head together. Because even on YouTube, I'll listen to YouTube when I'm coming up the road or I'm driving. So it's really like a podcast, because it's not like I'm looking at the YouTube. I'm just listening. But it's just something about podcasts. I just can't. I don't know. I just can't do it. But the main point, no matter if you go into a therapist, no matter if you're listening to YouTube, no matter if you're reading a book, if you are not ready to hear and heed what you are looking at or what you're learning or what you're reading, nothing will get better. And I don't know the exact steps of being open to it, besides just saying, I'm going to be open to it. Okay? I don't know. I can't just tell you that. But I do know that if you're not open to it, therapy's not going to help you. Listening to YouTube's not going to help you. Reading, or if you listen to podcasts or Audible, nothing's going to help you. You have to be open to learn. You may not want to be. You may not want to listen. You may not to what they're saying. You may not know if you're going to agree with everything you're listening to or learning, but you have to be open and say, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to listen. I'm going to see if it's going to help me. And then if whatever these things that you do may help you. And that's a big thing for me. If I'm in a spot where, and this doesn't happen often anymore because I know how these things help me. If I'm in a spot where I just can't, and I'm not ready, and I know that whatever I read is not going to help because my mind is not open to it, I won't do it. And I just have to take the time, and I have to take the silence, and I have to just be me for a minute until I can get into my brain is open again. So that's one of the main things. I used to always say, people used to not like Oprah, because all of her shows, when she started doing the good shows of all the self-help and the self-empowerment and all of those things, and everyone's like, oh, Oprah this, Oprah that, she's just saying all this stuff. She doesn't really live it. But even for her, if nobody was ready to hear some of the things that she had on her shows that could help them, if they thought it was all trash and nothing makes sense, then they wouldn't get the gist of what she and her shows were trying to give you. If you're not open, you're not going to be able to hear. You're not going to be able to understand because you don't want to. It's a block in your head from saying, okay, this may help me. Because if you don't clear that block, no matter what, nothing's going to happen in your life. Nothing is going to happen in your life if you don't clear the block. So you have to first work on clearing that block. That's what I do when I'm here. It's just a matter of me. It's self-empowerment. It's self-improvement. It's finding the things that I need to work on. It's been happening the last couple of months that I just need to sit and focus and see what I'm doing. Won't stop for traffic lights.